What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with another video. We have a few things to break down today from the New York Jets press conferences and some quotes from Robert Saleh. We'll talk about the offensive line changes, and it looks like there are going to be, if not one, but multiple offensive line changes. And on top of that, he explains why he is not ready to change the quarterback. It is time for my Underdog fantasy picks fresh off my win last week. What is going on? We won last week, so hopefully you tailed, but if you didn't, you could sign up now using my code and tail my picks. They are matching your deposit of $100 with a $100 match deposit bonus. There you go, up to $100. All right, Aiden O'Connell, lower than 207.5 passing yards. I don't think he is going to eclipse 200 in this game. The Jets defense just held Justin Herbert to 136 passing yards. Aiden O'Connell is not going to hit 200 in this game. And the Jets are going to lean on Breece Hall in this game. He will have more or higher than 15.5 rushing attempts in this one. 2 entries this week. Did a little bit differently. Did not do my normal 3. $10. 2 correct gets you 30. Sign up using my link down below. Okay, so no Billy Turner this week. In fact, he got surgery on his hand, so he even maybe could be back next week, but I don't think that is someone that I am thinking about returning to the New York Jets starting offensive line. He really struggled at right tackle. At right tackle, so I don't think it's, again, someone that I would feel comfortable putting back in there. Unfortunately, no Dwayne Brown, so that is another tackle that they will be down. So no Billy Turner, no Dwayne Brown. The Jets have a plan, though, according to Robert Saleh.
So what do you think your offensive line looks like at this point?
We'll see on Sunday. No, we've got a good plan. Like I said, the individual pieces on our offensive line, love all of them. You know, you just wish you would get some continuity so they can play together and learn how to play off one another. So, you know, we love the 5 that are lining up. We just need time for them to get that continuity.
Well, you don't know the 5 that aren't lining up for you.
No, we do.
Oh, okay.
We do. I'm just going to hold on to it.
He would not go into what that plan is, and totally understandable. I was not expecting him to, but a couple of things here, specifically what I would anticipate the Jets doing. Left tackle, Mekhi Becton. Left guard is going to be Laken Tomlinson. Center, I think Joe Tippmann. And then right tackle, my guess is going to be Max Mitchell. Although the right side is really where things could get questionable. I've seen people suggest that maybe Newman plays center and Tippmann goes back to guard. That would be pretty surprising. Tippmann is a center by trade, and Newman had to come in and do it in a pinch. So that would not be something that I would want the Jets to do. I would rather they keep Joe Tippmann at center. Could this be the week that Roger Saffold is activated? That is something else the Jets could do. So maybe he plugs in at right guard, and then you have Max Mitchell back at right tackle. My guess is Max Mitchell's going to play right tackle, and the question is who's going to play guard. And it's either going to be Roger Saffold or Xavier Newman. That is going to be my guess and my assumption on how they handle it. But you know, there's no denying that the Jets' musical chairs on the offensive line is a frustrating thing. Luckily, from center all the way to left side of the line, like that is going to stay intact for this game, and that continuity is going to continue. But the right side of the offensive line, we're going to see changes to. And yeah, I just don't love that it continues to change over time and time again. Also, Robert Saleh was asked about changing the quarterback for a spark, and he kind of shot down that notion. I'll play the clip and then talk about it.
That's more hypothetical, and the reality to pull a quarterback to spark change. You know, it's my opinion. Like, it's got to be crystal clear that it's him. When you've got everybody with their hand in the cookie jar, it's really hard to justify blaming one human. And you know, you could say, well, blame it on somebody and let's just do something. But is it what's necessary at that time to derail whatever it could be and just create all kinds of other problems in the future? So there is a global aspect of it. Now, if it was as clear as one person, yeah, you make a change, whether it's any position. But when it's not, when everyone has their hand in the, like I said, the cookie jar, and it's coaches included, it's hard to justify in my mind making a move just to make a move.
Okay, so Robert Saleh is sticking with that it's not just Zach Wilson, which is something that I never believed either. I don't think it is only Zach Wilson. The thing or the reason behind why I think it might be worthwhile to discuss a quarterback change is because that's really the only thing that you can change. The offensive line is at this point, like, you have all the guys that you're going to have on this offensive line. The wide receiver room, did they do enough at the deadline? No, they should have been more active for sure, but the wide receiver room is what it is. You cannot make any more. There's no more changes to be made there. The offensive coordinator is not getting fired mid-season, especially with Aaron Rodgers coming back next season. He is not going to get fired. So changing the offensive coordinator or the play caller is not a realistic option. The only relatively realistic option would be a quarterback change. And the pushback that you get is that you don't necessarily, one, it's not all his fault, which is true. Again, I've said many times on here that I think it's true. There are many reasons why this offense is struggling. And the other pushback is that they're a better option with Trevor Siemian, who won't be elevated, which people say, oh, well, Trevor Siemian can't even get on the active roster. Well, maybe that's a mistake. Maybe they should activate him. And Tim Boyle's not a realistic option. I agree with you that Tim Boyle's not a realistic option, but you don't know. It's the unknown, and the continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result is kind of the frustrating portion of it. And again, I understand what he's saying. There are areas where they can improve outside of the quarterback, but last year they made a change at the quarterback, and it did spark the offense in a short term because unfortunately there was an injury, and that was one of the big reasons why I'm not a Mike White guy and wasn't pounding the table that they had to bring back Mike White, is because the amount of times he would enter a game and get injured is insane. It was a very, very high clip. But at 31 points against the Bears and then 22 against Minnesota before he gets hurt against the Buffalo Bills halfway through that game, and then the offense goes off the rails from there. And there was a drop touchdown pass to Braxton Berrios in that Minnesota game as well. So there were opportunities for them to, they did eclipse 20 points in both games, which is something that has rarely happened for this New York Jets team. They have to scratch and claw and fight their way to get up over the 20-point mark. But I don't necessarily agree that changing the quarterback can't spark the rest of the team. I think it absolutely could. And again, that's not even there's no guarantee that it works, but for the sense of trying something different, because this is one of the worst offenses in the NFL. It is the worst passing offense in the NFL. It is a historically bad red zone and third down offense in the NFL, that they should try something different halfway through their season. It's been 8 games. It's not been 2. It's been 8. I think you could make a case that they should do a change, but okay, they don't want to make that decision. That's fine. But what's the leash on Zach Wilson in this game? If they are, losing a 6-3 game at halftime, would they make a switch then? Or are they going to continue to ride this thing out? I hope it doesn't come to that point. It would be significantly easier if Zach Wilson goes out there and throws for 3 touchdown passes and 300 yards, or just even 2 touchdowns in the game on offense. 1 in the first half, 1 in the second half. It shouldn't really be asking too much for an offense to get 2 touchdowns, but they have 19 points in the last 2 weeks. There's a lot of reasons for it. The offensive coordinator isn't that good. The offensive line has struggled. The wide receivers with the drops have struggled. There's a lot, but also Zach has struggled, specifically the last few weeks. He's getting back to holding on to the ball too long again. It was something that went away earlier on in the season. We, talked about how that was a strength of his in the Kansas City game, the Denver game, and even the Philadelphia game. But the last 2 weeks, the number has gone way, 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 way up. Can't happen against this Raiders team. You're going to be a sitting duck waiting for Max Crosby to crush you. So I hope it doesn't get to that point. I hope Zach Wilson goes out there and just plays well, because, again, that makes it significantly easier for everybody. But it's going to be interesting, especially with the offensive line changes. So those are the biggest news stories of the day. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.